Tell us about this project, how it came into being and why it was so important to have some structure there.
Well, many years back, someone did put a marker on the site, very small, relatively insignificant marker, to mark the precise place where Madiba was captured. And that was 51 years ago this coming year. We just had the 50th anniversary in August 5th he was captured. So there was this very small marker which didn't captivate people. And the Umgeni municipality, Howick, took it upon themselves to purchase the farm opposite and make land available for this project. And the Apartheid Museum decided to get involved in the project and then started a process where myself and Christopher Till began raising funds. And we managed, with the assistance of the KZN Premier's Office and COGTA, to raise the funds to start this project, which actually had been conceptualized with Marco some time before, in a different context. But we felt it was a really appropriate place to put the image of Mandela in a contemporary sculptural form in the landscape. And today, up until, say, last Friday, we've been getting approximately 300 visitors a day on the site. It's been extremely popular.
Marco, tell us a little about putting something like this together. We're seeing sort of a speeding up version of its construction, and I bet you wish it was that quick. But this is something that talks about placing everything in such a way that you can see it in a certain way at a specific point. Tell us about the science of putting a sculpture like this together, a piece like this together to create this image.
Even when I look now, there's a surreal aspect for myself, even though this project has been part of my life for it's almost 8 years, and spent a lot of time staring at this image of Mandela. And I've been involved in public work for quite a while, and I take that role quite seriously. There's quite a lot of pressure in trying to do something that is appropriate, that's sustainable in the environment, but most importantly that people respond to. And that's the biggest challenge. Everything else is a bit of science, a bit of experience, and there are examples of three-dimensional forms that come together to make an image, but this work here I think is a very unique one in terms of its arrangement and its fineness and its likeness. So it was quite a stressful experience.
I can imagine. How does one get the best experience of it? Perhaps tell us a little bit about the way this site has been designed and how people walk through this so that they can get a...
Sure. Well, of course the sculpture and the image is not visible from the street. It's just off the R103, which is the start of the Midlands Meander. What basically happens is you drive off the road. You see this very unusual alignment of steel structures, vertical alignment of steel structures, without even a hint of an image. And what we decided to do, we went to site together and a few other people. We decided to make the walk down to this fascinating array of columns a very long walk.
Okay.
So it played with that idea, the long walk to freedom. And then, so you travel 200 meters down a path to a point which is dropped into the ground. You get a moment of quiet, and at that precise moment, the poles align and form the image of Mandela.
Okay, so
and it is that trick which Marco came up with, which is so fascinating and has brought people back more than once to see this sense of this person forming in their mind in the same way that he's part of us, all of us, in a sort of general way, that come and they look for that image.
How do you build it, Marco?
You mean
Yeah.
practically on
Yes,
site?
yes.
Well, we work with drawings. It's all planned, and we have drawings that indicate the very specific location of the 50 columns, because there are 50 columns representing the 50th anniversary, and it's just about diligence and and applying yourself to the task correctly.
This isn't your first one, though, is it? I mean, there's something outside the Magistrates Court, Madiba boxing, that you did as well.
Shadow boxing.
Yeah.
Yes, that sculpture was commissioned by the JDA. They earmarked the site as a significant spot where they would to be a western gateway to the city. And I didn't embark on that project with the intention of doing another sculpture of Mandela, but when I went to the site, and I always try and respond to the context of a place, and I was looking at the museum exhibit of Chancellor House, where the whole building's been restored into a museum that's visible from the street, and I saw the very famous photograph by Bob Gasani of Mandela sparring on one of the city rooftops with Jerry Malloy, and I looked at it and I thought, this image is the perfect metaphor of everything that was going on around Magistrates Court and Chancellor House, and at that time in South African history. So we decided the sculpture is actually a commemorative sculpture to Bob Gasani, and it's a sculptural translation of his famous of all of the famous photographs of Mandela boxing.
All right, okay. I'm going to come back and get your final thoughts about this great structure in Howick, and also some of the other work that you've done. But I think, Ayanda, we're going to be going to another part of the country just to find out what